So Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In this video we are going to discuss the second type of receptors, that are beta receptors. So on to the synaptic cleft we go again. On the synaptic cleft, there is norepinephrine, and it has two types of receptors, or you can say three types of receptors. The two or three types of receptors, they are alpha receptors, they are beta receptors, and they are dopamine receptors. So we have done the alpha receptors and their agonist or their activators. Now we are going to talk about the beta receptors, where they are present, on which synapses they are present, and their classification, their location, and their agonist as well. And then in the next video we will talk about the dopamine receptors. So talking about the beta receptors are of three types. They are beta 1, beta 2, and beta 3 receptors. The beta 1 receptor and beta 2 and beta 3, all of them are G stimulatory. What does the word G stimulatory means? That if you go to the simple classification, let me show you the diagram. So this is a G protein coupled receptor, and the G protein coupled receptor, this is the having 3 intracellular and 3 extracellular loop. On the G protein coupled receptor you have this G protein. This is alpha, beta, and gamma groups are there. They are attached to each other whenever GDP is attached to them. But whenever what happens, that agonist comes, that agonist is going to cause the structural modification in this group. This group structural modification will cause GTP to be attached. That GTP, what it is going to do, that is going to get attached to this alpha group, and because it is attached to this alpha group, now it activates the alpha group. The beta and gamma group, they are separated from the alpha group. The alpha group is now active, and when it is active, it goes to the adenylate cyclase, and it goes to adenylate cyclase. Because of G stimulatory action, it will increase the level of cyclic AMP. So this was the whole mechanism that is observed in all the three beta receptors. So all the three beta receptors, they are stimulatory in their function, and they are going to increase the level of cyclic AMP whenever they will exert their function. So first of all, we will talk about the beta 1 receptors. As you can see from this diagram, the beta 1 receptors are found on heart and on the juxtaglomerular cells of the kidney. So this diagram will help you to remember it. Heart, juxtaglomerular cells. It is better if you make these diagrams with me. So if you have heart and if you have the juxtaglomerular cells of the kidney, you are going to, the beta 1 receptors are mainly present over there. So what will happen on the heart? On the heart, you have SA node, you have AV node. SA node is the pacemaker of the heart, and what SA node is going to do, it is going to increase the force of contraction of the heart. But the AV node, it is associated with the velocity of conduction or speed of conduction. So when you will stimulate the AV node, it will increase the conduction velocity and therefore decrease the refractory period. So calcium influx in the cardiac cell, it will do electrical and mechanical stimulation of the cardiac cells. So you go to SA node, there is increased force of contraction because SA node has now been activated by the influx of calcium ions. There will be increased cardiac output, due to which we will have increased heart rate, and this increased heart rate is known as chronotropic effect. Increased heart rate, chronotropic effect. For the increased force of contraction, you have inotropic effect. It means it accelerates relaxation. And for AV node, whenever the AV node will have influx of the calcium ions, what will happen? The AV node will have increased conduction velocity and decreased refractory period. That will be the dormotropic effect. So all the things. So SA node activation, when it causes increase in heart rate, that is positive chronotropic effect. For increase in the force of contraction, you will have increased inotropic effect. For increase in the AV nodal or conduction velocity, we will have positive dormotropic effect. So these three effects are observed whenever the beta 1 receptor is stimulated. Understood? And on the juxtaglomerular cell of the kidney, whenever you observe increase in blood pressure, this increased blood pressure will go to the juxtaglomerular cells of the kidney. It will activate the renin-angiotensin system. You will have decreased blood pressure. Whenever you will have decreased blood pressure in like hypovolemic shock or something, the juxtaglomerular cells of the kidney will detect this decreased blood pressure. They will go and activate this renin-angiotensin aldosterone system. This system is going to cause contraction, and hence it will help in increasing the blood pressure to the normal. So this is two effects that are observed. For the heart, you have increased chronotropic, increased heart rate, increased dormotropic, that is increased force of conduction, and increased inotropic, that is increased force of contraction. All the three things, all the positive things will be observed in this beta 1 receptor due to the stimulation of the beta 1 receptor by its agonist. Now we have beta 2 receptors. The beta 2 receptors, for remembering them, you have to remember this diagram and you are done for life. That is, consider this a man. The man is standing on a stone. So this man will have its face. The face is the heart. The man will have a body. The body is the uterus. The man will have the legs. The legs are bronchus. The man will have arms. The arms are blood vessels. At the end of the arms you have pancreas. And on the arms, what do you have? You have like skeletal muscles. The man is having biceps. So the skeletal muscles. So your head is the heart. Body is the uterus. The feet are the bronchus. The arms are blood vessels. The hands are pancreas. The biceps, they are skeletal muscles. And the stone on which the man is standing is the liver. So if you remember this diagram, you will be done with the locations of the beta 2 receptors. So on the heart, wherever the beta 2 receptors are stimulated on the heart, they will increase the heart rate. Whenever the beta 1 receptors, they are going to have agonist activity on the liver, they will increase gluconeogenesis, that is increased production of glucose. But for the other things, beta 2 receptor will have a relaxation effect. That relaxation effect is observed in uterus. In the uterus, the tocolytic effect or the relaxation of the uterus, that is used during parturition during early preterm labor. Similarly, for blood vessels, you will have vasodilation. For the pancreas, there will be decrease in insulin production. For the bronchus, you will have bronchodilation. But one thing that will be opposite, or two things that we can observe are stimulatory. They are contraction of the heart, that is increased heart rate, and that increased heart rate is positive. The increased heart rate is always positive chronotropic effect. And if you have skeletal muscles, you will have their contraction, and that will be increased contraction of the skeletal muscle. All the other things, the blood vessels, the uterus, the bronchus, they are going vasodilation or dilation. Whereas the pancreas, they will have decreased insulin production. Or for the liver, it will have increased gluconeogenesis or increased glucose formation. And the effects of liver, they will be more potent than the effect of pancreas, because liver is a giant organ. Going to the blood vessels, so this is the blood vessels that we can observe. In the blood vessel, there will be vasodilation of the vascular blood. To maintain, what will happen? We are going to do two things. Whenever there will be vasodilation, there will be decrease in total peripheral resistance. Decreased total peripheral resistance will allow the diastolic blood pressure to decrease and the systolic blood pressure to increase. Diastolic blood pressure is decreased. What does diastolic blood pressure mean? The diastolic blood pressure is the blood pressure when the heart is relaxed. So see, when the heart is relaxed or in a relaxing situation, the resistance of the blood vessels is very much less, so it does not have to do a lot of work. So due to decreased total peripheral resistance, there will be decreased what type of blood pressure? There will be decreased diastolic blood pressure. But now, because of vasodilation, your blood is less in the vessels. Because it is less in the vessels, so when the heart is going to contract, it is going to contract in a more potent way to increase there will be increased in cytosolic blood pressure. So in this situation, you can also see that the heart is doing contraction. So whenever it is going contraction, it will increase the cytosolic blood pressure. And whenever you have vasodilation, always remember total peripheral resistance will decrease. This will lead to decrease in diastolic blood pressure. So what will happen due to this? Mean blood pressure is increased because heart is doing increased contraction. But always remember, if you are having a drug that is having stimulation of beta 1 and beta 2 receptors equally, in that type of drug, the more potent effect will be observed on the beta 1 receptors because they are more cardioselective or cardiospecific. I hope you understood that thing. Now for the beta 3 receptors, they are found in adipocytes and they are found in bladder. And the bladder, you have the detrusor muscles in the bladder wall. These detrusor muscles, whenever the beta 3 receptor is activated by its agonist, it will go to the beta 3 receptors onto the detrusor muscles, and it will cause relaxation. Due to this relaxation, this will help in treatment of urinary incontinence. What is urinary incontinence? Urinary incontinence is that your urine dribbles all the time from your bladder, and you will have urination at most uncomfortable situations. But when the beta 3 receptors, they are activated, the detrusor muscle is relaxed. Now the detrusor muscle has relaxed. Now the bladder capacity has increased. It can store more urine. When it can store more urine, so it will help in the treatment of the dribbling of the urine, because now urine storage capacity of the bladder has increased. So that is why this beta 3 agonists, they are used in the treatment of the urinary incontinence or urine dribbling, because it will help in urinary retention, because the muscles are now relaxed. They can fit in more urine. So that was it. For beta non-selective, that will have equal activity on beta 1, beta 2 and beta 3. Mostly they are isoproterenol. These are beta agonists. For beta 1, the beta 1 selective one that can only activate the beta 1 receptors, that is dobutamine. For the beta 2 selective, it is albuterol. We do not have beta 3 selective yet. So for beta non-selective, you have isoproterenol. For beta 1 selective, you have dobutamine, and for beta 2 selective, you have albuterol. So these are all the things that you can observe. So with that, we are done with beta receptor activation. For beta 1, you can always remember heart and kidney. For beta 2, you can always remember your man standing on a stone. The stone is liver, head of the man is heart, body of the man is uterus, the arms of the man are blood vessel. Arms have this biceps that are skeletal muscles, the hands are your pancreas, and the feet or the leg are your bronchus. And except for the skeletal muscle and the heart, there is vasodilation in everything, and in the liver you have increased gluconeogenesis, and this has more potent effect as compared to decreased insulin production by the pancreas. Now beta 3 receptors, they are present on adipocytes, they are present on bladder. In the bladder, they are mainly present on the detrusor muscle walls. The detrusor muscle is mainly concerned with the relaxation because of beta 3 receptor activation. Whenever it is relaxed, what will happen? Its urine storing capacity will increase, urine retention will be observed, treatment of urinary incontinence or urinary dribbling can be given by giving beta 3 agonist drugs. So this was all that we observed for beta receptor activation. In the next video, inshallah, we will be discussing the dopamine receptors. If you like my videos, please consider liking, sharing, subscribing, leaving a good comment below, and subscribing to my channel so that I am activated and I am agonized by you to make more videos like this, inshallah.